A sleek aircraft speeds down the runway at nearly 200 miles per hour, trying to make a critical emergency landing. It skids, slides off the end of the runway, and slams into a hard object. A moment that transforms what should have been a survivable landing into a tragedy. Within seconds, flames engulf the aircraft, claiming the lives of those on board. Aviation experts are raising urgent questions about what caused this disaster. Initial reports suggest a possible bird strike may have forced the emergency landing. Yet, according to aviation specialist David Lount, the defining factor in this tragedy wasn't the landing itself. The pilot did an exceptional job given the circumstances, he explains. The aircraft was largely intact with no fire upon landing. It was what happened next that turned it into a catastrophe. The hard object, a concrete wall, sat just beyond the runway, holding an instrument landing system ILS antenna used to guide planes in poor visibility. Satellite images reveal that this wall has been a part of the airport's infrastructure for years, despite its perilous location. Experts are appalled. Such structures should never be positioned where a plane might overrun, Lount states. It's not only unacceptable, but nearly criminal. The runway ends on level ground, with enough space to allow the aircraft to slow down safely under normal circumstances. Had that space been unobstructed, everyone on board might have survived. Instead, the unforgiving presence of this wall led to devastation. "I've never seen anything like this in any major airport anywhere in the world," Lount emphasizes. As investigators examine the black box, grieving families, and the public demand accountability. How could such a hazardous structure exist in one of the most critical areas of an airport? While answers may take weeks, one thing is clear. This tragedy was avoidable. The lives lost here must spark action to prevent such negligence from ever happening again. This incident raises profound questions about safety protocols and airport design standards. How could an oversight of this magnitude go unnoticed for so long? The airport, which opened in 2007, has had this concrete wall in place for many years, according to satellite images. Yet, it seems no one questioned the risks it posed until now, until lives were lost. Aviation safety experts stress that runways are designed with overrun areas precisely to minimize the impact of emergencies like this. These areas are meant to provide a buffer, allowing pilots to bring an aircraft to a halt if something goes wrong. But here, that critical buffer zone was turned into a death trap. "It's heartbreaking," Lount says. "There was more than enough room for the plane to stop safely. Instead, the presence of this wall turned what should have been a non-fatal incident into a horrific disaster." The emotional toll on the families of the victims is immeasurable. For them, the loss isn't just about an accident, it's about preventable negligence. The stark reality is that their loved ones might still be alive today if not for that wall. Their grief now transforms into a demand for answers. Who allowed this structure to remain there and why? Meanwhile, aviation authorities face mounting pressure. The black box will reveal critical details about the plane's final moments, but it won't explain why an airport, a place where safety should be paramount, allowed such a dangerous obstacle to remain in place. The families of the victims and travelers worldwide deserve more than just explanations. They deserve real accountability and meaningful changes. For now, the sight of the charred wreckage serves as a grim reminder of what happens when safety standards are overlooked. This tragedy will forever be a scar on the history of aviation, but it can also be a turning point. If the right lessons are learned and if swift action is taken to eliminate such hazards from all airports, perhaps no other families will have to endure the pain of losing loved ones in an avoidable disaster. The outcry is growing louder as aviation experts, passengers, and grieving families demand to know how such a basic safety failure could have been allowed. This is not a question of technical complications or unpredictable conditions. It is a matter of human error and oversight. Airports are meant to be the safest environments in aviation, yet here, a simple yet deadly oversight shattered that trust. Investigations are now focusing not just on the immediate causes of the crash, but on the broader systemic issues that allowed this dangerous structure to remain in place. Who approved this design? Were warnings ignored? And most importantly, what measures will be taken to ensure no other airport makes the same mistake? Public pressure is mounting for swift action. Families of the victims, still reeling from their loss, are calling for justice. They want assurances that no one else will experience the anguish they now carry. For many, it's not just about accountability. It's about transforming their pain into meaningful change. As the black box data is analyzed, early findings already paint a troubling picture of negligence. The presence of the concrete wall is being described by aviation insiders as a catastrophic failure in airport planning. This isn't just a design flaw, one investigator remarked. It's a failure of imagination, a refusal to consider the worst-case scenario that airports are supposed to prepare for. The tragedy has also sparked a broader conversation about global aviation safety standards. If such a glaring hazard could exist at this airport, how many other runways around the world might harbor similar risks? Experts are now urging authorities worldwide to conduct immediate audits of runway overrun areas, ensuring they are free of dangerous obstacles. This incident is a stark reminder that safety in aviation is not just about advanced technology or skilled pilots. It's about the basic responsibility of ensuring that every element of an airport is designed to protect lives. For the victims of this disaster, no action can undo the heartbreak, but it can ensure that their loss is not in vain. The aviation industry must now face its harshest critics and take decisive steps to rebuild trust and prioritize safety above all else. The weight of this tragedy is a burden no family should ever have to bear, and it serves as a stark reminder of what's truly at stake when safety is compromised. The aviation industry has always prided itself on learning from its mistakes, evolving to ensure that each failure leads to stronger systems and safer skies. This moment must be no different. Every decision from this point forward will determine whether those lives lost were in vain, or if they became the catalyst for saving countless others in the future. But this isn't just a story about aviation. It's a story about accountability, responsibility, and the cost of neglect. The lessons here extend far beyond the confines of one airport or one industry. They remind us of the critical importance of vigilance and action when lives are at stake. As the investigation continues and the families of the victims fight for justice, it's up to all of us to demand answers and ensure their voices are heard. The world cannot afford complacency in matters of safety, and those responsible for this tragedy must face the consequences of their decisions, or lack thereof. If this story has moved you, if it's made you think about the importance of safety and accountability in every aspect of life, then join us in keeping these conversations alive. Subscribe to our channel for more in-depth reports and updates as we continue to cover this unfolding story. Like this video to help spread awareness, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Together we can amplify the voices of those who deserve justice and push for the changes needed to prevent such tragedies in the future. Stay with us as we follow this journey toward truth and accountability, because every life lost here must count for something greater.